Mic check. Philadendrum. Philadendrum. Mic check. Philadendrum. Philadendrum. Can you hear me? I can't tell. Hang on. Uh-oh. Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely been a while because I could see the last date when I did a live stream. It was like almost 2 months ago. So I have been having a lot of fun. I've been out there just fighting a lot, just sparring a lot, right? Because here's the thing. I'm a big fan of getting punched in the face and punching other people in the face and slamming them and choking them out and getting choked out. I'm a big fan of that. The reason why I'm a big fan of that, and I think it really just kind of blew up, and this is why I kind of just like quit live streaming for a while, is because the internet is really filled with a bunch of cowards in real life, right? And when I say that, I mean, see, on the internet, you can always just kind of cut things or only show one side of something, or, you can always kind of, you can always doctor something up to look like, so you could look like you in your best light, right? And and I was just really thinking, like, okay, nowadays you could literally just chat GPT everything or whatever to get through life. So and that's what made me run back. I just kind of just completely ran back into just completely merit filled hobbies. They were like for like getting punched in the face. You can't chat GPT in the middle of a sparring session how to do something when you got fear working against you, fight or flight, all that shit, or whatever the fuck, right? You can't just chat GPT your way out of it. So all I did was just spar, man, like pretty much since then. like, like literally at least 3 or 4 days a week, I would just go find like gyms here or there and just whatever I could find and just spar. I was doing jujitsu. Well, jujitsu and judo is pretty much about the same thing. Kickboxing, so and taekwondo, the sparring taekwondo, not that bullshit kata choreography shit. I'm talking about like getting fucking hit with a spinning kick to the diaphragm shit. I'm talking like, god damn. But I'm a fan of getting punched because see, a weird thing happens. See, when you get punched in the face or when you get your ass kicked in front of a lot of people, see, that's when you know if you either kick someone's ass or you get your ass kicked where everybody can see it. And then, see, that's when you really know who is who, like, in the world. Because, like, for example, there was this one dude. Now, he was like a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So for those of you who know who do that field, it takes, like, years to get to that level. And you can't bullshit your way through jiu-jitsu at all. You have to know what the fuck you're doing. So he would easily kick my ass, right? But the dude started saying some dumbass shit, right? So I called him. I can't remember. It was something about AI and like AI is better than humans and all this shit like that. I pretty much said like, no, that's ridiculous. What are you talking about? I mean, the dude could have easily kicked my ass, but we had a genuine debate on it, and I beat his ass in a debate, right? Like, but the thing about that versus YouTube is, see, YouTube, anybody can just say anything with confidence, and you can just believe it, and it's almost like YouTube is just bitch drama. You know what I mean? YouTube is bitch drama. And like going out to just fight motherfuckers, that you can't, okay, you can still get your ass kicked, but like that's when you see like real ego versus bullshit ego versus like realistic ego come into play, right? And who the fuck you really are. But yeah, I'm a fan of getting punched in the face. I'm a fan of people being punched in the face because I think that it restructures reality. Because the internet, again, like I said, the internet is just a big ass feminine cowardly place. But yeah, see, I just been sparring this whole time, To be honest with you, that's where I've been. Because you can only go like for adults, you can only go there from like 6 to like 8 or something like that. Most places like 5 or 6 to like 8 or 9 or something like that. So that was just directly the time of me being able to live stream. So that's where I've been. That's been fighting a bunch of motherfuckers. You kicking my ass or I'm kicking somebody else's ass. And yeah, the first month I was pretty much getting my ass kicked most of the time because I just did. You got to work yourself back up to that conditioning to be able to hang with like 20-year-olds. You know, I'm 40 now, man. So it's like, so first I had to get that because I had the strength. The strength was not the problem. Like this, just to just hold somebody, and the strength was not the problem. But just to get that conditioning and the awareness of your body again, that's what took at least the first month, probably more like a month and a half, to get that more back down pat again. Because I lost all that shit. But like I said, like the actual like power and strength, that was fine. I didn't have any issues with that. But but yeah, I'm just a fan of motherfuckers getting punched and kicked. I think everybody, like I said a long time ago, I think everybody, I think every judge or every police officer should do at least 30 days undercover in a prison before they can be in charge of having anything to do with you going to prison. That way they know what the fuck they're doing, because they don't. Okay, I think anybody who has anything to do with locking a human up in prison, they should have to go undercover and do at least 30 days in a prison. That way they have a full understanding of what's going on. I think anybody who's allowed to talk out loud, and then especially the people who have the courage to talk shit about other people, they need to legally should be forced to have to at least box somebody. With you know what I mean, just just a good once or twice a month. Like, you have to go in this boxing ring, or we're gonna shut off your YouTube account right now. I think these are things that need. And I'm not saying like everybody's gonna lose, but I'm saying I think this would more regulate the reality. Instead of people just kind of like just doctoring up a pretty looking video. I'll tell an embarrassing story. I remember this was probably about 3 weeks into it. Now, here's the thing, especially with sports like, well, pretty much every sport where you're like full on like you're sparring to hurt kind of thing. You never know who's gonna do what. So I remember at one time at kickboxing, my first partner, he was this big dude, legit looked like a Marvel movie character, right? And he was my first partner that I had to like go at it with, right? And I'm like legit scared of this dude at first. He was cool, but I'm like, oh god, I gotta do this shit. And we started going, man, and he just didn't know how to like. He had no footwork. He didn't even throw. He couldn't even throw a punch because I would just like go in and strike and get back out, or get on a strike and then like just move to the side, and just kind of pick him apart. And he literally couldn't do anything. Like, he was just like nothing. And then the next guy, he was like my size, but he was stocky and he had these like thick legs, but he was a smaller dude. And he was a real nice guy. That dude kicked my fucking ass for like 30 minutes. That dude beat my ass. Like, I should have called it off. I should have called, because he was just out of my league. But I can't think of one time. I'm the type of person, like, I would prefer to fight Mike Tyson, and if I could just learn 10% of how to deal with Mike Tyson, then like I'm more happier taking that and being able to fight somebody like a normal dude who just knows how to fight, versus just always fight with normal people. So I'm never gonna call off a fight, any type, even if he's clearly taking it easy on me, whatever. Like, I would much rather get my ass kicked, and he kicked my ass for literally 25 minutes. We just kept going at it, man, and like that shit hurt so bad. He kicked my ass for like 20, but I was happy. But the funny part was, the next week I was talking to another guy that I know there, and we both had he fought the guy the week before I did. and we had the same experience. He was just that dude was just like he just had perfect form with everything. He didn't even have to move fast. Like every punch and kick he threw, just like it just felt like you were just getting hit by a tree trunk every time, man. Like, and I remember at one point I did something where like I probably tried like like the fake him out with a front kick and then go in and block it, but he still caught me like right in the face, man. And like I just remember just like it felt like my head got stuck and was like this, and I was seeing double like literally for like the rest of the fight, the rest of the sparring match. He was just like the dude kicked my. I limped the entire way home. Like, and this whole I had to fight him southpaw because he had his kicks had already because I'm right-handed. His kicks already tore up all this shit. So now I had to go in, which I don't. I usually fight southpaw normally, and so he just tore up all this shit. My whole right side was just bruised up, man. Like all of this shit just was just bruised, and I was just I limped the entire way home. Literally the entire way home. Kicked my ass. No, no. Are you in the peanut butter? No, this is a bowl of lentils and brown rice that I just made. It's delicious, by the way. Lentils and brown. I love lentils. There's lentils, brown rice, butter, and some of this little seasoning. But I've always loved lentils. The orange ones because they cook faster. I think technically they call them red, but but the color is actually orange. I'm in the minority where my kung fu school trained for real life fighting. We doing like Kyokushin or something like that. I always pronounce that shit wrong. I wanted to go there, but I could never figure out where it was. I wanted to go to Kyokushin. I don't know how to pronounce that shit, but I want to do it. But yeah, I just been sparring. Did you see the Michael Jackson movie? No, I have not. What's up, Elijah? I have not seen them. I didn't even know it came out until I just started seeing a bunch of white kids trying to do the moonwalk everywhere. I'm like, what? All these little white kids will do the moonwalk, just randomly, just like and trying to teach each other how to do it. I almost went over and taught some, tried to and taught some. Cause I know I can do the moonwalk, so I almost wanted to go over and teach some of these kids how to do it. You know what I mean? But I kind of start piecing together because I remember stumbling across the news sometime before that I think like it was like his nephew was gonna play him or something like that. Could you talk about male nature? Sure. I'm just saying. Talk about male nature. I want to get into MMA when I'm self-employed and have more free time. Yeah, man. I say, okay. Here's my thing. I would recommend if you want to do MMA, I would recommend, which I mean, just don't take my advice. I'm not like a super great dude or anything, but I would recommend you go learn the individual areas from the individual gyms first, because they're gonna have a focus on it. Because like MMA is like a, a 4-in-1 device. Usually, when these 4-in-1 devices are made, they never really they're never really thoroughly good at any one thing. You know what I mean? So there's always going to be like a hole in there, like a severe hole or severe gap. I would recommend if you want to learn MMA, which I'm not a professional fighter by any means, but I would this would just be my philosophy. I would tell you to first start out going to maybe like I wouldn't even start with Muay Thai. I would start out with like some just boxing and maybe wrestling first, just so you get that that core foundation of pretty much everything else you're gonna do. That's what I would do. I would recommend boxing, either boxing or kickboxing, and then wrestling or some form of jujitsu, some type of wrestling. Just those two cores, and then you'll be able to, like, I think after that it'll be easier to grasp, like, just a straight up, full brawling or something, like just flat out an MMA fight. Um, because here's the thing, if you watch like MMA fights matches and then you watch like just a straight up boxing match or like just a straight up like wrestling match or something, like the wrestlers are far better at just straight out wrestling. The boxers are far, so you like, see what I'm saying? Like you get that. I would recommend that because you get that just a full stronger discipline in the separate areas, and then you can piece them together and just take like MMA later. But that's just my opinion, man. But I say go for it, man. You didn't even ask for my opinion, but but yeah. I'm in Toronto, word up, in Canada. In the brothels in Prague, do they mainly deal in Caucasian women or are there ethnicities? Oh, there's all types. Well, unknown individual in the brothel. Well, it's been a while since I've been to one. So my dad's coming. I'm gonna take him to. They moved actually. My dad's coming here about next month, and I'm gonna take him to the new one because I still got friends that work. A friend that works in there. So pretty much the only ethnicity that I could say you pretty much guaranteed not to find is going to be some type of Asian. You generally won't find any Asian women in there. That's about the only one in the brothel that is very popular here. You won't find that. But I mean, you won't find a lot of black. You're not gonna find like African American black. You're gonna find like African black. But even then, it's usually like one girl. It's not a lot. Maximum two. Um, Mostly because like, and not for bad reasons. Mostly because those girls really don't have to go do that. Because the white guys, they usually want them so bad, like they just got their pick in real life. Because the white guys just want to experience a black woman. So, that's just free food and shit for the black women just in the regular world. You know what I mean? So the black girls really don't have to do it. You're usually gonna find some form of white or some form of like further eastern, like Eastern Europe or like some shit from out there. But mostly it's gonna be white though, but just some different type of white. I'm in my. Oh, okay. Everyone has a plan to. Yeah, everyone has a plan to get punched in the face. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I remember once I felt so bad, right? I didn't want to do it. I had to spar with this girl in kickboxing because we was kind of rotating, right? And I just kind of ended up in that row. And I was, to be honest with you, I was kind of scared to fight this girl, right? She was there when I had first gone there, and this girl was like tearing up the heavy bags and tearing up any drill you can give her, and she had a good athletic look on her, and she even looked a little mean. I mean, she looked like a little Ronda Rousey kind of girl, right? And so I had even seen her spar before, right? But I wasn't really paying attention, to be honest. And and here's the thing. So I remember as soon as we square up the spar, because I'm thinking, like, this girl, I gotta kind of bring this girl. She's gonna beat my ass, right? So I gotta, at least, have a solid posture in this, right? So as soon as we square up, she goes like this. I'm like, so at this point, it's like playing somebody who sucks at chess, right? Like the first move be so bad, you're like, okay, wait a minute, is this person setting me up to get my ass kicked? So don't get greedy yet, right? I mean, this is like with playing chess. So as soon as we start, she literally squares up like this, right? And she's like, I'm thinking like she can't be serious. I'm thinking like she cannot, she can't be. So I remember I like, kind of faked it and seeing what she would see if she would like be willing to like take the hit or would she actually try to move out the way. And so like, I remember I just threw just like a straight. I didn't like. Now this is probably where I was a little dirty about it because like I'll throw a jab. I learned that shit from Michael J. White in that one video, and that shit fucking works. You're not gonna knock anybody out, but it fucking works on a psychological drill. Just throw a jab like this, just because you ain't doing all that. You just so that's what I did to her. I remember I was just like, I just went bop and hit her dead in the face, and she went and her face turned red, and she was like, I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Like I thought you would have seen that coming. And she goes, no, it's fine, it's fine. Come on, let's go. All right, and then we were going a little bit again, and like it was just like I would have killed her, man. So I had to tone that shit. Like it was like I was fighting my son. Like I remember after like the second or third time, like I mean, like, cause I would just clearly catch her. Like it wasn't like this kind of like jumbled up brawl shit. It would just be like a straight connect, like whap kind of thing. Or like, because she wouldn't guard her fucking head. She kept doing this shit. Let's talk about something. You know what I mean? Like doing this, I was just bop bop. Bop, bop, and in the reality, like I know why, because like I'll throw punches without, because they teach you in boxing and shit like to throw with your hips and then and all that shit. Like I mean, yeah, that's cool, but they're gonna see that shit coming from a mile away. So I'll just do this kind of shit, but don't do it too much because you end up throwing out your shoulders and shit, and if you fuck up. So I just do this kind of thing, and get just as more like a psychological, see, because you're not gonna knock anybody out with that shit. You're not gonna really seriously hurt anybody with that. But it's just more just to let them know you can get a hit in on them. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And I remember I just apologized. It got to a point I clearly remember where I said, okay, I'm just not even gonna throw another punch. And we had like 2 more minutes left to go. And I said, like, I'm just gonna just dance around her, kind of play with the peekaboo style kind of thing on her, but I'm not gonna throw any more punch because I could get. Here's the thing: when you're boxing someone, when you're doing some form of boxing with someone, this one dude said it the best when he fought, was that Logan Paul or something like that, when he fought that dude out in the UK. And he was explaining when he was fighting Logan Paul, he said, look, like everybody who's sparred has been there before. Like you can look into the other person's eyes and know that they can't win. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, it's always, it happens to everybody in the field, right? Like everybody in that field knows what that feeling is. Like, you can't, it's just nothing you can do. So at that point, like all you can do is either just wail out and just hope for luck to happen, or just curl up in a ball and just don't do anything. So what the girl did was she just curled up into a ball. She if I even act like I was going to throw a swing, she just backed up. You know what I mean? So I said, yeah, I'm not even going to throw up. I'm not going to. This is not the place to do something like that. You know what I mean? Like, so I didn't even throw an actual punch for like 2 minutes with her because she just couldn't take it. You could see it in their eyes, right? You know that look in that person's eyes, like, yeah, they know it can't go in their favor unless they get super extremely lucky and get one really good punch. Because if they have to throw a combo, they're too okay. Correction, because I've been there. Like you once you end up in that phase, it's not about you not being tough. It's about your brain literally shutting your body down to protect itself. So like your brain will talk you into being like deathly afraid of catching another direct hit. Right? It's nothing against that other person. It's just like you're on a scientific level, your brain will just do that. Right? And everybody's been there. Everybody, Mike Tyson's been there. Evander Holy, somewhere when he was growing up, he knows exactly. If you tell Evander Holyfield what about it, he will know exactly what you're talking about. But yeah, man. Yeah, get punched in the face. That shit. I love it though, man. Like even though it'll hurt, I love it because it's just like something about it just reminds me of reality. You know what I mean? Like something about it, like like you can't hide behind your model of iPhone. You can't hide behind a pair of shoes. You can't hide behind your yearly wages. When you step in that ring or put on them gloves, is you can't hide behind your Mercedes outside. Your Mercedes ain't gonna do shit for you anymore. And that's what I love about getting punched in the face. You can't hide behind that shit. You can't hide behind Chat GPT. You can't hide behind talking slick in front of a camera anymore. It's just get your ass kicked. This is 100% pure merit, and that's why I just quit live streaming for a long time. 'Cause I just fell in love with doing that, or doing jujitsu doing jujitsu and just getting thrown to an arm bar or whatever the fuck, or getting choked out. I remember I choked this one dude out. Because I didn't want to hurt him, man, and I could tell like he probably wasn't like, he didn't have a much athletic, ability, but he wasn't like he looked like a normal dude, but I could say you. So here's the thing, like boxing is like chess, well, I can't really say that, but it's that like I would say it's probably worse though in any type of wrestling or jiu-jitsu. Like you could pretty much feel out that person's ability in the first 3 seconds. Generally speaking, well, I'm not even like I'm at my level. You can feel him out pretty quick, and I could feel yeah, this dude is not he's not there. So I remember I ended up like behind him with my arm like around his throat, and I said, "Look, I'm getting." And I remember as I had him just like this, I was like, "Okay, I'm getting ready to choke you, man. So if it hurts, like tap out because I don't want to hurt you." And he nodded his head. He was like, "Okay." And I just pulled back and choked him, and he took, he tapped out. But I get my ass kicked all the time, man. Like this one dude, he's like 25, man. He be teaching me a lot of shit, man. I sit down with him, and this other dude from Armenia, he's like 28, and he just teaches me shit from wrestling and jiu-jitsu, what to do. Both of them kick my ass easily. So I'm not gonna ever try to make it sound like I'm kicking everybody's ass, because I definitely get my ass kicked a lot. And this one Ukrainian dude, man, this Ukrainian dude, he kicked my ass so bad. That shit was like I was fighting Thanos. Because we'll go like no gi, and just the compression shit, right? So I was going with him. No, this time I was going with him with my gi on, but he had the compression. And I mean, this dude, he was just, because these guys, they grew up doing this shit from like 5 years of age, man. So I remember like at some point, I mean, he was just there was nothing I could do. But again, like I love fighting with people who are just like completely better than me. That's that way, like, you can learn a lot more. So I remember, I mean, he completely kicked my ass. But I remember at one point, because I had him in a leg lock, like on the ground where he was like sitting up. So he went ahead and tried to stand up. So then, like, I tried to sneak in and, like, just wrap his leg up in my legs like that. Like, yeah, I got you, motherfucker. He looked down at me and looked at my leg on the side of the hip and just, I mean, he didn't even open his mouth the whole time. He's breathing through his nose the whole time. And just grabbed my leg and just went like this and just went. And then he grabbed it and put me in a leg lock, and I just had to tap out. That motherfucker kid. But he's a great dude, man. We talked later about it. I didn't even know he could speak English until later that day. I told my dad that story. That was pretty funny. If you were there, it was funny. Cause like like I had the look in my eyes. I know I had, because I was like shocked. You know what I mean? Like, what was that speech Thanos said? Like, he knows what it feels like to give it your all and still lose, kind of thing. That's exactly what that shit was. There's nothing I can do. So at judo, I always fight this one. I always go with the biggest people I can find, man, because like that's the biggest. Like, because I want to know I won't panic under weight, that just coming down on my chest kind of thing. The dude has to be he's got to be around 250. And he knows judo. You know what I mean? So he's not like a 250-pound dude who just does, he's just, uncoordinated. This motherfucker like knows judo, right? So of course he always kicks my ass, but like it's I I can see that I was getting better in the time, and I told him I'm gonna beat him one day. One of these days I'm gonna get him, and I'll go with him the whole time. Like Jesus Christ, like I remember the last week he just like completely crushed me on my chest, and I was just like, but I wanted that because I want to know what it's like to be just crushed by that weight by somebody who knows how to put their weight on you, and then still be like, okay, don't panic. Your time is running out, but don't panic. Think, what to do. And I almost got out of that one, but I ended up having to tap out because I just couldn't. I tried to. It's too much to go into it. But yeah, I couldn't get out. He's a real cool dude. Everybody's great in these places, except for that one dude with the brown belt. He's about the only one. Gen Z is all fucked up because their entire life is the internet and they never got bullied. Yeah, Shayak, I agree. Yeah. Everything switched to online, man. So like everything just kind of turned like to just this cowardly, just a cowardly place because everything is just online. And women can still succeed in cowardly situations, but men get weak and die in cowardly lifestyles. Women are valued initially are valued for being inexperienced and cowardly and ignorant. Women are valued. The more ignorant, cowardly, and inexperienced a woman is, the more initial value she has in life. Whereas men never, very, very rarely get away with that. Anthony, yeah, slow down and learn one art at a time. Kiyokoshi, yeah, I can never pronounce that shit right, man. I can relate. AD as a third degree black belt in Danjutsu Ryu. I had days where you spar, and the next day if you drop something, you just have to leave it there because you physically can't squat. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I be getting my ass kicked. But I think everybody should. I used to talk about this a while back. Like, more times than not, people really aren't afraid of getting punched in the face. They're afraid of what other people will think of them getting punched in the face. You know what I mean? Because the pain really, unless you get hit like just right, which I have been hit. I mean, you will get hit just right, but like, most of the hits would just hurt for maybe 10 seconds, max. A lot of it, especially you just learn how to block. Even then, you find somebody who just hits so hard, blocking doesn't even matter. There's one dude. I'm gonna go to this one story, this article in a minute. But there was this one dude. I haven't seen him for a while. He was Ukrainian, and even we would do just boxing drills on each other, man. Like this dude hit so hard, and it was like he wasn't even trying. Like he just hit. And it's typically always the guys with like the thick, stocky legs. But he had this Ukrainian dude, didn't speak any English, but we were real cool. But he didn't speak any English, and he had real thick, stocky legs. But he was also tall, which isn't very usually. That's not very common from my experiences, at least. And we would just do these boxing drills on each other. I'm like, oh my god, like can I keep doing this boxing drill with this motherfucker? Like, you know what I mean? Because he just hit so. And I remember when we actually went to like full on spar, like he couldn't do anything. He had no leg move. He had no footwork like at all. He was just a big ass. He was just a tank. That's all he was. But and then on top of that, he was a slow tank. So like he could barely even get a hit in on me. Like, but if you had to stand there and just take a hit from him, that shit was gonna fucking hurt. Blocking, see with people like that, dude. There's not really such thing as blocking. You're just protecting vital organs at that point. There's no real blocking with people like that. Right? Because some people you can legit block it and you pretty much neutralize pretty much all the pain or most of it. But and so I remember we ended up talking later. I said, man, like you hit hard, man, because we were like hanging out later. I said, man, you hit real hard. He goes, oh, it's genetics. I said, what? Because he was getting out the English at this point. We say genetics because nobody else uses the G like G. They say G all the time. Anyway, he says it's genetics. I said, what do you mean? He goes, oh, my dad was a boxer and my grandfather was a boxer. I was like, okay, that makes sense then because he couldn't kick worth shit. He couldn't even move at all. But if you caught a punch from him, you knew that shit. Yeah, he was a good dude, man. And well, everybody, most people in these places are usually going to be great. But yeah. But yeah. Read a few more of these comments. I'm going to start article in a minute. D.O. Tony has a black belt in karate and taekwondo and trains jiu-jitsu. That mixed martial arts. That is mixed martial arts. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. The only thing I'll be worried about, which the only thing here, so Anthony, the only thing I will be worried about is that from my knowledge, which is not a lot, I will admit, is that the karate and taekwondo, like these kind of martial arts, they usually don't train you to protect your head at all. So like it's just not second nature for them to just go like that. Like it's kind of second nature for them to kind of do this kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like the block the kick kind of thing. Which I'm not saying like full on taekwondo is rough, man. Like real taekwondo sparring is rough, but it's all kicks, and you can kick somebody in the face, but it's not. But they'll never like train you to like automatically like kind of like do that like kickboxing shit like that like to protect higher than your shoulders. That's the only reason why like I wouldn't like. That's the only dangerous area in that form of MMA that I like. But again, I could be ignorant and be missing something, so I don't know. But just from my knowledge, like they don't train you that instinctive, like that automatic instinct to block your, when in doubt, you know, make sure your head's protected in some way, kind of thing. But that is a great base though, because that taekwondo is going to definitely get your legs in good shape for sure. And you need that. Like everything you do comes from your legs. So yeah, that's definitely going to be a great fucking. I went to a boxing gym for trial, see how it is, and also to a BJJ club. I like BJJ class more, even though I loved it. Well, yeah, because the thing about that, man, like, is because the BJJ classes, they're going to have clear distinctions on what belt you are and that kind of shit. And then on top of it, like boxing is really more one of those things where like boxing is one of those things where you really can't teach somebody a lot. Like your brain has to just get used to getting punched. And that punching is like more punishing. Whereas like BJJ is nowhere near like as in my opinion, like the boxing is definitely more punishing because you're getting struck. And you really can't teach people what to do because everybody's gonna handle it differently. Whereas like BJJ is definitely, or any type of like wrestling is definitely more fun to like meet people because you can slow it down and actually see like what what you're doing, and you still may fuck up anyway, but it's not like that punishing fucking up. You know what I mean? Like you really can't box or any type of, you really can't get struck without it feeling more punishing to get struck. But that's my opinion. But yeah, the any type of wrestling clubs, these kind of play, anything that's like grappling is usually, in my opinion, I think will usually be definitely um, more fun. Because then you guys can talk a lot more. You can share ideas a lot more easier. But yeah. Yeah. And then on top of that, like, because now, I mean, I have a great respect for all of it, man. But Because the thing is, like in like for example, like in any type of like grapple sport, like you usually like grappling is like chess, where like let's say if my ELO is like 1700, right? Someone whose ELO is 1200 would literally just never beat me. Would never even come close to beating me unless I just, felt like experimenting with some shit I didn't know what I was doing, right? And I think grappling sports are pretty much the same way. Like if someone's just better than you, like you're not going to get anything off on it. You're just not. Whereas like now in boxing, like an amateur boxer can just get lucky and throw a wild haymaker and knock a dude out. You know what I mean? Like it can happen, right? I'm not gonna say it would happen, but like let's say if like that amateur boxer was just like he's just nervous, like and the legit heavyweight pro is just like he's trying to deduce him, and that heavyweight pro can just fuck around, throw one wrong punch, and get countered, and he's just out, right? Whereas like in any type of grapple sport, you still a lot of times you still have room to just you still have room to get your mastery of it through, to correct it, almost like playing like violin, how they fuck up, but they just like they can hear it and like instinctively like fix it like mid stroke kind of thing. So you would just never hear it. Um, but yeah. Oh, because I got my son. These. Can you guys see that? Boxing gloves and this thing, and he'll go and grab this and wanna come do it. So, because all I care about with my son is that he's comfortable with physical confrontation. Oh, I'll show you guys some other stuff I got for him. It's right here. So this is some other stuff. I've been on Temu like crazy. I got all this shit off Temu, by the way. So I got this. Let me make this bigger so I can see myself. This for him. So he could see. So he's used to seeing this shit. The spinal cord. This. This. And this heart. So he's used to just growing up with this shit and seeing it, so he knows what the fuck it is, right? Because when I was working on my biotech degree, when I had first gone to college for this stuff, like I was not used to seeing stuff like this. So I was just like I remember I was just so lost, man. And I was just so behind. So for him, he's gonna be used to, there's just a certain baseline he's gonna have and be used to, and be used to knowing. I got some other stuff too, but I don't feel like getting it. What's up, Mo? What's up, Jen? So yeah, let me go to this because I see somebody sent me this an article like this. Let me go. Oh no, women pay it. Pay high for what was it? Some shit like that. I think they're gonna ask for a subscription if I go here. Or will they? Oh no, not this. So here's the thing with this, man. Like I remember coming across this back when I used to live in Chescalipa, right? Where um when it comes to meeting women, when it comes to dating at any kind of event, it starts out where the men will always outnumber the women, like when they're in their 20s. But literally as both sides age, like the women are the ones who can't find a man, and the men just literally don't go to dating dating what do you call it, dating groups. Men just don't go. So it would get to the point, but I was aware of this, that usually around like 35 or 40, like men just don't go anymore, and the women just cannot find a man around 35, 40. But I didn't know. Now it's gotten so bad that they're charging women $100 to go to it. I don't know. Is this article saying it? But this is, here's the thing. This is normal, but I don't think society was really aware of this. I don't think I think that women were so busy trying to trick the world into thinking that they're desirable, that people genuinely didn't know that women lose. Okay, men are not in a hurry to get with a woman after they turn like 35, 40. Okay, correction. Men are not in a hurry to get with a woman over 30. I'm just saying, let me read this real fast. I'm just saying, as a 5'10" stocky dude, I can confirm power is second nature. For real, people don't even want to spar. I have no intention of hurting. I could actually lose sparring because I don't try very hard. Wait, as a 5'10" stocky dude. Oh yeah, yeah. If you got that stocky in you, man, like dude, I told my dad, I'd rather fight a tall, skinny dude. Like if you gave me a full choice, like if you're like stocky, I already know I'm gonna get pounded, man. This is gonna fucking hurt. I already know. Unless you're like really shitty at fighting, I already know. Oh wait, back to the dating. Um, yeah, like I think what happened was all of the women were so busy keep trying to keep up with social media and show themselves as like as having so many options, this and that, that nobody really paid attention to the reality, to the realistic side of it, that older men, the older a guy gets, the more guys learn women's bullshit, and they just get tired of it. I was talking to my student today, and she's like, I think she's like 45, 46, something like that. Either 44 or 40, between in her mid 40s. And she was telling me how one of her coworkers, her coworker cannot get her husband to have sex with her, right? And she said, yeah, like he still likes her. He's not like he's being mean to her, but he just doesn't want to have sex with her anymore. And I was trying to explain to her, like, yeah, like by this time, like most men have already experimented, have either already done everything they wanted to sexually on an experimental side, that either that, and or he's just tired of that woman in some form. It's one or two. And I was thinking earlier this week, like that has to be a really shitty rug pull for women. You know what I mean? Like, could you imagine like being born into life where you're always given some type of royalty treatment just because you are what you are, right? You were always given the cleaner bathrooms, you know, easier position in line. You're always told, you're given compliments. Could you imagine being born into that, and then being demoted in any capacity from that? And it was nothing you even did. Like it was just biology for many, right? Like that has to be a big rug pull on women. You know what I mean? Like to just age into that. First off, it has to be weird starting out. because deep down they know anything that is relatively valuable in that world of that thing, it knows it's not valuable. You know what I mean? Like let's just take for example like rare fucking like let's say if there's like a rare parakeet, right? There's a rare bird, right? And this bird sells for like $15 million, $15 billion, some shit like that, right? Now you take a room full of them birds and talk to them birds be like, yeah, I'm just a bird, bro. These motherfuckers think I'm worth 15 billion. I'm just a bird. Like they know it for real, but they're not gonna be like, yeah, man, I'm just a bird. Just buy me for $1. None of them are gonna say that. You know what I mean? This is what it is. Like, so it has that has to be a hard rug pull. But I was just also, yeah, I was just talking to a female friend of mine, and she was in New York City, and she was telling me she thought it was weird because she loves black dudes, and we talk about it openly. She loves black dudes, and she would just stare at a black dude like in New York City somewhere, and whether it didn't matter if he was a bus driver or anything, she would just stare at him trying to get his attention. And she said they wouldn't even look back at her, right? They weren't dealing with her. And I told her like I don't know. I've been out the U.S. for so long, and then like the next day, somebody from here sent me that link that women are paying $100. I mean, yeah, women are paying $100 to meet men. And I said, yeah, like, and I sent it to her. I say American women have fucked up bad. It sounds like men are just too afraid to even go anywhere near a woman now. Oh, real quick, let me also apologize for something real fast. I want to apologize for something. Now, I got this wrong. I think it was the last time I live streamed. I want to apologize for this because I got this wrong. Because the next day I seen it and I thought back to the live stream. Someone asked how much a gallon of gas was out here, and we Googled it. Here, how much is gas in? Now, I did get this wrong. Now, I think it said it was like 50 or something like that. Maybe I don't know, my memory said, but I could be wrong. But even then, I would still be wrong because I remember somebody asked me how much was gas here in Czech Republic, and AI had said something along the lines of this, and I said it had never reached a certain amount. And then the next day, I went outside and looked at the gas station because there's one right down the street from me, and it was that price. And I felt so bad because I remember I said to myself, I just did that live stream and said that was a lie. I had no idea gas prices had shot up that quick because I had just put gas in my car like a month before. So gas prices like shot up. So I did want to apologize for that. If anybody remembers that, I want to apologize for that. Anyway. So yeah, this shit. Women are now paying up to $100 to attend exclusive singles events in major cities like New York, while men are often let in for free. This pricing strategy was adopted by event organizers to incentivize male attendance and balance skewed gender ratios at in-person dating events. And that's real sad, man. Especially in the U.S. That's sad. Because it's still a bad deal for men. It's still okay. I've been sick too. I was sick this whole last week. I'm still blowing my nose. I mean, I was like legit sick. This isn't allergies. But okay, so here's the, especially in America, this is still a bad deal for men. This is what is a woman is still a bad deal. They got to fix them laws because women want that equality, so they need to fix those laws. So women are essentially now paying to be pimped out at this point. Any man who has his shit together and is any man, okay, first off, $100 ain't shit. Like this, there's so much like, and I hate to say this, but it's just true. That whole okay, the woman I met today. I usually met her on Wednesdays, and we're switching to Thursdays now. But she's great. She really is great. But now she is a legit higher caliber woman, right? In fact, today we were sitting down talking. I had this funny story about Tiffany's jewelry, and she was showing me all her jewelry that came from Tiffany's, right? Which is, I think, is pretty fucking expensive. And she has a legit job. She has a legit education, and she doesn't have to go looking around for men paying fucking site. Okay, I've said this a long time ago. If a woman, okay, a woman who is single for too long, over the age of 30, is the red flag in itself. And I hate to say this, but it's true, because if a woman was likable or valuable in any way, and she's around, let's just say, like, if she thinks she's higher class and she's around higher class people, right, and nobody is taking her up to the point where a woman now has to pay $100 to get a chance to go meet a man, that woman is the red flag. Period. Okay? Like, so for this woman I talked today, she's never had a problem keeping a man. Well, she had, because she's like 45 now, and her kids are but they about to graduate high school. But she's got a new guy now, and she's never had a problem with any of this. She's normal. She's down to earth. She's told me stories about when she was poor. Now she's got a bunch of money because she has this great job, and and I'm teaching her the English now. Teaching her English now. She's completely there, fluid, down to earth. And that's usually what it takes. And the sad part is, like, most women don't really understand that. There needs to be some sense of awareness of accountability and awareness of reality. Those two things. Okay, those two, along with, of course, decent, good hygiene, and just don't be fat, and that'll open all. You'll very rarely have a completely closed door. Okay, you very rarely. I was talking to my dad about this like 2 days ago. Usually, there's only about two or three core areas where men and women fuck up. It's only about two or three core areas. Um, um, it's usually going to be hygiene, uh, personality, or health. Usually, either one of those in an extreme, or a little bit of two or all of them. Once those three areas get fucked up, then it's just nothing you can really do with a man or a woman in that situation. If you got your shit together, too, on top of that. Like, if they start walking, like, for example, I was in the store 2 or 3 days ago to pick up this carpet cleaner that I'm going to return. Sitting right here, this carpet cleaner. I'm going to return it. And I went to the store to buy some wet wipes, right? Because the package wasn't at the post office. And this girl was in there. This girl's been working there for at least a year now, minimum. And she's always nice, but she always used to look good. And she just got fat. She got fat like that. Like I mean, just like horrible. This is not pregnancy. This is fat. Okay. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, how did you gain weight that fat? Like, what? So it's like, for men and women, it's usually like, okay, for example, here I got another example. I was starting to like this one other girl, this one other woman. And she has I forget what that's called, but it's not cerebral palsy, but she has it where like it's that condition where like your brain sends a signal to like your left side or right side to like clench the muscle so you can like start walking with a limp, and you can't like open your hand out all the way and that kind of thing. She has that, right? But we would sit down and talk like every week. Like we sit down and talk about our kid and this and that. And I was like really liking her too. Like I could see myself dating her, because it wasn't about the physical condition. It was because you can't help that. But she was really nice. But then it turned into her just always. And this is the sad part with women. It's like once they like you and they feel comfortable with you, then it's like they feel it's like they feel comfortable telling you all their problems. And it's just always a life problem. You know what I mean? That's woman's talk for I really like you. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like for those of you who grew up with sisters or female cousins that were close by, you know what I'm talking about. Woman's For many women out there, that's how you know they like you is when they feel comfortable coming to you and telling you their problems. And in reality, it's just disgusting. It's gross. Men want peace. Men don't want to hear a problem. Oh, and like I said, I was really liking her, like, because I feel like she's like I think her and her husband's probably split up, or her boyfriend actually. I was really I was liking like Patrice O'Neal said, like you like a girl, like a relationship is at its best when a man likes a girl and a woman hopes that the guy likes her. That's when a relationship is like at the best point for a man. Most cases after that is when it just goes to shit because women. Okay, women. There are women out there that exist who knows how to genuinely just sit down and just exist. They do it. They do exist, right? Um, but to find these kind of women who are in that mode without also almost turning like bitter and like I just want to exist in peace and she doesn't fall into just being a constant ball of complaining after that. But to find a woman who genuinely, just knows how to she can just sit down and just exist. Can she just sit down and exist? So I've been giving this a lot of thought because I went to go practice gymnastics, right? And I was practicing the fucking just nothing serious because I can't do anything serious. Just the trampoline and I don't know what anything's in there called, but I want to get good at the I want to get good at the uneven bars. Let me show you. I got the hang on. So I got these for the uneven bars off Timu. Because I want to get good at the uneven bars. I always thought that looked cool when I found this gymnastics place in Prague. So when I take my son to school, I go do gymnastics while he's in school. I mean, I can't do shit. I'm fucking horrible. But I bought these so I can cleanly practice the uneven bars because I practiced them last time I was there, but you can't really like go free on it because it's just gonna tear your hands up. So I bought these to try for next time I go. And when I went in there, man, like I was meeting these girls and they were all fucking great. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, the guys were a little socially awkward, but the women were like great. You know what I mean? Like, the first girl I met, she was doing the uneven bar. She was doing the female version of the uneven bars. I think they're like lower to the ground or something. And I mean, this girl was like, I mean, these motherfuckers were gymnasts, all right? This is no bullshit. And I mean, she just, I mean, and her body was just like perfection. Just like when I would go ice skating, like these women's bodies in ice skating are just like perfection. You know what I mean? Like there's not a bad angle on these women because they're doing this shit right. And she was just like flipping over the uneven bars, just doing and then jumping to the other one and just twirling. And so I said, yo, I said I always wanted to learn how to do that, you know. And I just wanted to just talk I have no experience in gymnastics at all. And I asked her, like, well, how do you even start? And she showed me her gloves, and we talked for a good 15, 20 minutes, man. She was just showing me shit and telling me how to do it and where to start and you know, just telling me little tips and pointers. And she said, yeah, you can learn how to do this within about 3 weeks if you just consistently try. You can at least look like you know what you're doing. And she was great, man. And I met another girl downstairs. They were just doing tumbling, but like perfection tumbling. And then I remember I said, because then I went to this other area where you had to run and jump off this thing and like land on this, I don't know, some type of mount. And so I said, hey, what is, I wanted to ask this girl, what is this for? And she goes, oh, that's where you do flip. And she goes, okay, well, just here, I'll set it up and I'll show you. And she set it up, and this bitch ran and hit a full Power Ranger, Zigger Ranger backflip off this motherfucker and landed like she was just getting a bottle of Coke. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, that's just it. I'm like, Jesus Christ. But here's the thing. Now, what I'm finding is even with the women in ice skating, and now I've narrowed down my field again to the only women I'm gonna fuck with. I've narrowed down the range of women I'll fuck with. They've got to have at least practiced in some serious way gymnastics, tennis, ice skating, one of these fields where like they had to practice in a competing form. You know what I mean? Because every time I go to these places and meet these women who do that, we usually get along fucking great. Either these fields or women who are like in higher positions with education behind them. So these are the fields I'm looking for, because I was telling my student today, because she's in great shape. She's older now, but I mean her body's just in like perfect. If you've seen her body, it's just like perfection, right? and we talk about this. We talk about women, you know, like they just let their bodies go. They just say fuck it, and you know. And she said no. She said you got to get with a woman who did like tennis or ice skating, because these women know what it's like to have some sense of accountability with their body in order to be able to compete with, you know, within the field. Because even a friend of mine, his ex-wife, she did him dirty though, but he was he was a little off too, to be fair. She was one of those women who was 40 years old and still had the same clothes she had when she was 16 and still wears all of it. You know what I mean? She's one of them. And she was vegan. I remember when we went to go visit him, she cooked us this big vegan, like, just meal. And she had run track, very like at a highly competitive level for like 10 years. And even to this day, she still is in great fucking shape. Like, and so me and my student today, because she's like 45, she told me, say, you got to get a woman who did something like, because that's the only way they're okay, not the only way, but that's the best general way to assume that she's at least going to have some sense of awareness and accountability, and not just blame the world for, you know, the world did it to her. She's not going to develop that victim mentality. It's like, okay, what can I do about this? So I've narrowed down the type of women I'll even entertain. Like if like, because I was telling my dad, I went out with this one girl, man, and just for lunch, and I was telling my dad like how crazy it is, how it all flips, you know, the older you get, right? Like no matter what a girl looks like, if she's working in like the grocery store or some shit like that, now I'm like, no, not no. You know what I mean? But we were like 20, it doesn't matter where the girl works at. But now it's flipped. Now I'm not gonna even entertain like I mean I'm not gonna be mean to a woman, but like she's like she immediately is only gonna make it so far. Okay, immediately I already know it's just not gonna make it unless she's got some other hidden secret going on that's just undeniable. That not like her parents are just gonna give her money, but like she's got some other hidden secret going on with her that I just can't see at the time. Or like immediate no. Like a woman who's working just a regular job to be a worker, no, no, it's not enough. You know how women would be like, what's that song? Cause she would that girl she was telling me about the song. She knew the song too. It's something like I want a guy 6'5", finance, blue eyes, trust fund or some shit like that. That's what it changed, for me. Like I only want like if the woman doesn't have something, some type of direction, um, I'm good. I'd rather jack off the porn. Seriously. And just move on with my life. But yeah, the gymnast, yeah, that was real shit. The gymnast was real shit. Ice skating was cool too. But there'll just be perfection. But yeah, back to this. That was a whole long rant from the women are paying $100. Well, yeah. So let's take it back. See now, these women are not. These women don't have to pay $100 to go meet men. The women who have to pay $100 to go meet men are potential are going to be higher end uneducated women or lower end educated women. Those are the ones who are paying $100 to meet me. I guarantee you, if they were to pull up the the statistics, just like when they did this statistics on who voted for Trump. And I'm not saying Trump is dumb or anything like that. I think most people don't like Trump because they just don't want to like Trump because they hear other people who don't like Trump. But I remember this at the time. If you looked up the statistics on who voted for Trump, like the more educated the person was, the lower that category voted for him, kind of thing. If you were to pull up the education behind these women, it would be I would be fairly certain to say it would be the anywhere from mid to higher uneducated women to the lower educated to the low end to higher educated women. You know what I mean the women who work from they work in a button factory as a manager or some shit like that, right? Nothing wrong with it, but what happens in a woman's mind is that she wants something that is not in her realm. That's There's nothing wrong with working in a button factory, but in a woman's mind, this is what I'm getting at. It's not going to be women who is desirable women don't have to do this. Okay, period. They just don't. See, here's the other part too. The other part I want to touch on is that whole situation of women saying, "Well, I could be a good woman to a good man." No, the fuck you can't. No woman, nobody. Okay, say not even just a woman, just a human, right? Whenever people say shit like that, pretty much inferring that they're not good people unless they have X in their life, that's the biggest load of shit, man. Let's just use women as an example because this is what the channel's about. So let's say like a woman goes, well, I could be a good woman whenever there's a good man to come along who can handle me, right? That is nothing but a shitty escape. That's hiding behind bullshit. because if you're a good woman, you're going to be a good woman whether the guy is horrible, whether the guy is great, whether the guy is in a wheelchair, whatever the fuck. Because these are your habits. If you don't have those habits, you're going to do the same thing. You just may be able to hide it a little longer because you're a little impressed from the temporary, newness of it. But you're going to be the same person. I would say it's the same thing as somebody who like owns a car, right? Let's say like for example, in the U.S., I have a decent car in the U.S. I have a nice car in the U.S. It's a BMW. I haven't driven it in a long time because I've been here. But my dad can tell you pretty much every car I've ever owned, I've always kept it in as clean condition as I could ever keep it in. Right. So it's like my dad remembers when I was driving like an old Chrysler and I kept that motherfucker vacuumed all the time. Right. So by the time I got to BMW, like he had already knew like that was like I would do that whether if it was a BMW or if it was, some rattle trap. Right. He knows people who seen my car on the inside knew that that's how I keep cars. So whatever car that's out there, that is going to be the condition it's going to be in when I own it. Now, let's say for example, when women say, yeah, I'll be a good woman for a guy, but he's got to be a right guy. That's like the equivalent of a person who was driving like a Ford Focus and trashed it out the whole time, and they get a Lamborghini. Like, they might treat the Lamborghini a little nice, like while it's still new, but they'll fall back into their habits and turn to the same person. Well, then it'll be trashy in that Lamborghini, be smelling and all that shit, right? Doesn't change, but it's the person. It's the habits of that person. You could have two people. You could have. It's just the habits. It's the habits. And usually, when you talk about couples and relationships, the the weakest link is going to be the leader of the entire relationship. I'm sorry. The weakest link is usually gonna end up dominating the whole relationship. For example, you can give one person $1 million. You can give one couple $1 million and a month. Let me say that again, real smooth. Couple number one, you can give them $1 million a month, $1 billion a month, $1 trillion, doesn't matter. But that household will be in constant panic, constant turbulence, constant arguments, constant frustrations, living month to month, paycheck to paycheck. Nothing's ever stable. Nothing's ever comfortable. Nobody's taking any trips, vacations. There's no extra money to do anything. There's no extra time for hobbies because everybody's always fighting and arguing. And then you take couple number two and give them an extra $50 a month, and that could be the most peaceful household you can find. It's the habits. It's not what these people think they would do. It's what they actually do. And then they'll figure out what they think they can do later. So for those of you guys who are younger out there, when you find a woman, and even then people can still change, but get with somebody because of their habits, man. Like, because the looks, no matter how pretty a woman is, man, like, you're gonna get tired of her looks in time. Get with somebody for their life habits. For their life habits and their life actions, not what they think to do, what they hope to do, because all that is bullshit imagination. Okay, get with people for their genuine life habits, how they are I was watching this one dude on Instagram. He said this, and this is real shit. Don't get with a partner based off how they act when things are going good. Find it's best to find a partner and how they act when things are going bad, because that's the real person. When things are going bad and the person's under stress, that's what you really got to work with when reality hits, not when things are going good. Anybody can be, anybody can be likable when things are good, or they can hide their bad shit. But when they're under, okay, like for example, when you're sparring or fighting, and when some people get under stress, they just can't handle it, right? And you would think they'd be super strong because of how they walk and talk before that, and you put them under stress, and they just completely fold, and get embarrassed, and never come back, right? And other people, the more you squeeze them, the more they start, going back to the fundamentals and foundations, and that's the real person. That's the real person. Have you seen the story about Larry Wheels and his Serbian wife? I don't even know who Larry Wheels is. Who is this? Oh wait. It's a power lifter influence. His connection to Serbian sense of his marriage is ex-wife, Serbian model. I hate to do this shit, man, but like, also knowing what I know now, even though I never did it, I would never. Okay, where is this dude from? Okay, yeah. Okay, know what I know now, man. As an American, and I've said this to other Americans I met here, don't ever get with none of them women from east of Europe. I say just Czech Republic, and Czech Republic is pretty bad too. Never get with with unless you've had life experience with these cultures. Don't ever do that, man. Don't ever do that. That is just that culture and mentality. It's nice and cute up front, but you gonna get slaughtered, man. Don't do that shit. I would never recommend it because okay, just from the sheer fact, I'm not saying you can't like somebody from over there, but like they're always gonna see you as like as a meal ticket in some way. And it's fucked up to say it. I know, man. It's fucked up to say it. But the women in these countries, they're always going to see you as a meal ticket. They never going to see you as human. They never will. And especially when you get to these to these like poor countries that are landlocked, they're always going to see you, even if they like you. They're always going to automatically see you as a meal ticket out. I wouldn't recommend it. I think that's a horrible idea. I mean, she might actually like you a little bit, but they're always gonna they just always do that shit, man. It's just in these types of places. Like I was talking to this one girl, and she was telling because she had a baby with a Czech dude, and we knew this other girl. She's back in the U.S. and she's coming here soon. She had a baby with a Czech dude, and we all kind of had like here. Whenever I speak with an American, or pretty much just here's the thing: whenever you speak to pretty much any foreigner that's not a part of that landlocked country that was historically poor or poorer, right? We all came to the same conclusions. Like they'll always they'll never see you as a human. They never will. Like they see each other, they see their own type, and a lot of times they don't even like their own types, their own people. But you will always be an outsider slash not human slash either meal ticket or just some exotic fun. Like you're never gonna be, you will never be like fluently in there with them. You see what I'm saying? Like that now, for example, like when I would go to like when I was in Scotland or even in Ireland and I would talk to some girls there, like even though it was that kind of shitty Western woman, undertone, I did feel like we were like I wasn't this like exotic animal to them. And here's the weird part, like I was in a mall a few days ago, and this is how I get like I immediately knew these white people were like from the West because they looked at me with a certain look of confidence in their eyes, like they were confident in looking at me and being comfortable. Like because like continental Europe is not used to seeing black people, right? So like they're always like trying to stare at you and all this shit, or they just stare at you the whole time. Kind of like they did, like they're like because they're just I'm not thinking like they just don't know, like they're not used to seeing black people a lot. So like I remember I was in Tesco and it was this older white couple, and the way the dude looked at me just with a sense of comfort in his eyes, I immediately knew he was from somewhere in the West. And I heard him talk to his wife and they were speaking like fluent English. So he was definitely from, somewhere in the West. But yeah, I just thought that was funny. Just that these are the little things that you just don't even pay attention to until you live in a place like this, and then you can start to see it like, wow, like this shit is real. These motherfuckers really just don't know. It's shocking how like the majority of the world that's not just Africa or North America or Canada or some part of UK or maybe even Australia. I don't know much about Australia, but it's so crazy how like once you leave those hubs, generally, like the rest of the world just has no idea how to look at it. They just like panic when they see a black person. And even in places in North America, they still panic. But like I don't think people are really aware of like just how segregated the world really is. I don't and how that really works into just like existing places. Like they don't really know. And on top of it, they really don't know like the horrible jokes and the way they can talk to each other, and they're like are like do people really know that like for example, let's just say here in Czech Republic, like they will say like the worst shit to each other, but it's like they instinctively know when they have to speak English they can't say that, so they always soften up everything they're talking about when they have to speak English. Like because they know the world knows what they're gonna say, kind of thing. It's so weird how that plays out. Yeah. AD, blessings and much love, man. Happy Father's Day. Is today Father's Day? Oh, thank you. I didn't know today was Father's Day. Is it Father's Day? I don't know. My volume's kind of low. Well, I'm about to get off here anyway in a minute, but I can change it. Oh, God, no, not this. I'm going to my sound setting. Yeah, the input volume's all the way down again. I don't know. It resets all the time. I never put it down. It just always does that. Input, yeah. I hope that's better. I'll put it up. Mic check. Well, yeah, man. But yeah, no, the woman I was with today, she's always been great. I never had any issues with her. Do you think it's the same with Eastern European men with foreign women being meal tickets? Well, that's the thing. The hypergamy ladder doesn't really work that way. Uh, it doesn't unless the dude just looks really, really, really good, and he end up getting a really, really good job. The hypergamy ladder doesn't work that way. Like there's not no German woman is like is dreaming to get with Oh, they fixed it. Okay. There is no German woman is dreaming to get with a dude with from Lithuania. Okay, every woman's dream man is in a richer country, and I think that's why the West is so miserable because there is nowhere else for higher for them to go. But every woman's dream man is in a richer country. It doesn't the hypergamy ladder doesn't go. What do you say about it was going down? Do what was it? Because the question it went away. It was up here. It just disappeared. The question about. Let me see if I can. Wow, I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, the hypergamy ladder it doesn't work that way. Like, I mean, you will have cases here and there that'll pop up, but like it's definitely those are not the norm. Those are the exceptions. You know, you will have a case where like matter of fact, I was hanging out with one of my child's mother, one of her friends. I remember we was talking, and she said uh, she said the first guy she fell in love with was a guy from Ukraine, right? But she got with a Czech dude. And I was saying, like, yeah, that wasn't by accident. That hypergamy ladder, it doesn't go that way. It only goes up. Now, but then on top of that, there's many more dynamics that come into play. Many more dynamics. Like for example, let's just take like Ukraine for example, right? Like once you get to these parts of the world, like see, many of these people can't afford to just get up and travel. Okay. It's like once you get to the Western world, like more people can afford to just get up and travel. But like once you get out these Western worlds and like in these, in these spots that have like, higher average incomes, these people can't afford to just get up and travel like that. So what tends to happen is that hypergamy is going to be strictly bound to that area because they just can't really move around like that. It's just impossible. They just don't. There's no such season in America. We're used to credit cards and taking out loans and this kind of thing, right? The rest of the world doesn't have these options. They just can't do this. All right, most of the rest of the world they just don't. They can't do that. And on top of that, everything's more expensive than it is in places like America. So they can't really it's much harder for them to do like these international, hypergamy games. It's not possible. It's a lot more difficult. I always wonder about the dynamic with African women and Eastern European men. That is a scary situation, in my opinion. I would never tell an African woman. I would not now as a man, you'd be okay. But as a woman, I would never tell a brown woman to go into any countries that average wage is below like $700 a month. Because once you get into these areas, one, they're still very hard on that. They're still very much into the gender roles and the gender dynamics. And then two, if you brown or black, see that like that racial nonsense is like the norm now. Like they're still operate like once you get the countries where the average wage is below like 700s, they are effectively America in the 40s. Okay. Like they don't give a or Kentucky now. You know what I mean? Like get over here, you fucking nigger. They don't give a fuck because nobody's gonna tell on them. No one's gonna tell on them because nobody's gonna know the language. So like, and see, and this is a buffer that Americans also are. I don't think or Canadians, Americans are not fully aware of. See, like in America, if somebody does something and says something incredibly racist or something like that, well, the whole world knows what they just said. But in these countries where people, where, let's say in Hungary with Orban, he could say some of the most craziest shit on earth, and nobody's gonna know because nobody speaks Hungarian. You know what I mean? So he could just keep all that shit quarantined. You know what I mean? Donald Trump is not the worst president. Now, Donald Trump's he's the president of the most powerful country on earth, but he's not the worst president. Okay, there's a motherfucker a lot more ridiculous than him. But you just can't, you'll never know because you don't speak the language. You can't understand it. And nobody cares because their country's probably weak and, this kind of thing. But yeah, I would like to be, wow, to be an African woman. Whew. Like I said, as a black man, see, you could just fuck around and beat somebody's ass. So motherfuckers will at least try to act right, or at least, think twice before they say some wild shit because you may understand them, kind of thing. So they, as a man, because see, when you start going to poorer countries, like I said, that 1950s North America comes out, right? But it's still that situation where, for example, what's that Sacha Baron Cohen, Borat? Remember that movie Borat, when he went to fucking Romania and just made fun of them to their face like that? Because see, Sacha Baron Cohen knew that they wouldn't beat his ass, because they not a lot of times these people aren't violent people. Now Sacha Baron Cohen would never go to Harlem or the Bronx and do some shit like that, because he'd get his ass beat on camera. Right? And he knows it. That's why he would never go there, right? So these countries like this, they're not going to be very violent. Not because they don't have anger in them, but it's they've just been they've been neutered on this mental state to be physically violent for various different reasons. That's a whole nother hour's worth of explaining. But they're, because it's not that they're weak in the sense of physically, because they're very physically capable, but psychologically they've been neutered. They're not gonna as a man, you're not gonna have to worry about being robbed or anything, but as a woman, they might fuck around and dog you out still. You know what I mean? Because they still got that 1950s woman respect kind of thing. Like in Ukraine, you can still slap a woman and the police won't do anything about it. You know what I mean? That's still a thing. They know it. The women there, you will never hear about it because it's just normal there. You know what I mean? But this is what it is. But to be an African, a black woman on top of that, I would never tell a black woman to go to any country where the wages are lower than, I would say, about $700. Once you go below that, that's when that 1950s America comes back out. Except minus the violence, the physical violence. Because the richer the country gets, the more of it. And I hate to say this, man, but this is just my opinion. The richer the country gets, the more chance that the news will actually make it to mainstream television, and then people will find out. So now they can't do it as much, kind of thing. It still happens, but I would never tell a black woman to go to Ukraine. I would never tell a black woman to ever do that. Ukraine, I don't know much about Russia, but if I had to guess, it's probably in the same boat. A black man would be okay, but a black woman, no, I wouldn't trust that. I'm sure there are some in these places, but I wouldn't. If my niece said that she wanted to go to these places, I would tell her, no, don't do that. Don't go. Especially these countries who really ain't on English like that, and they got low wages. That's a bad mix. I would tell them to go to Germany, because Germans, they still afraid of being seen as racist because of Hitler. So they'll do anything to not be considered racist down there. But because they still afraid of that shit. Watch any films lately? I recently watched Gladiator for the first time. You finally seen it? Okay, I watched it a long time ago. I don't even remember much that happened in it. I really need to rewatch it. I watched um I watched, you know what I watched? Because I was sick this last week. I watched the episode of Fresh Prince where his dad comes to visit him and leaves. I didn't realize how short the episode was. Um, but yeah, I watched that. I always end up watching Judge Dredd, the newest one, because that's just a great movie. With Keith Urban, I think is his name, Carl Urban, Keith Urban, something like that. That's just a great movie. I watched that. Oh, I tried the game Crimson Desert. That shit is horrible, man. Like, I really tried to get into it too, man. I was really trying to get into Crimson Desert. I played that shit, and at first I'm like, all right, this might be all right. And in some parts of it was I felt, here's the thing, I felt the same thing that most reviewers say about it, is that for every great thing it has going for it, there's three other things that are just like undeniably just horrible. So so at one point before I deleted it, I had unlocked the ability to like body slam people. And that shit was hot. Like, oh, that, like, I was falling in love with it. I was just body slamming everybody. I just ran around, just pow, just because it would cause this like quake, and people would fall around you. At first, I was like, I was starting to see like, okay, I can probably still, but the controls are just the worst controls known to mankind. It didn't look that great. I don't know where people are getting that it looks beautiful, because it doesn't look that great at all. It looks horrible, actually. It looks like Beam MG, but there's no reason for it to look like that. One reviewer said his review of Crimson Desert, it was an article, and I think he said it best. Crimson Desert is what happens when you liked Zelda, but you didn't understand what made Zelda great. And that's my exact opinion. And my additional opinion is Crimson Desert felt like one dude sat down and got 5 different AIs and asked them, how do we make the next biggest game? And AI literally wrote all the code and everything for the game, and he just printed it out. That's what Crimson Desert feels like. It feels like it's terrible. It's awful. like for every good part of it, like, is at least 3 or 4 issues that just be like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. You know what I mean? There was some good. Now, to be fair, I only played it like about 4 hours, and that was 4 hours too long. But the whole time I was playing it, outside of the body slam, I was having fun body slamming motherfuckers. And so I got to this boss, and he just kicked my ass. Because to be fair, one thing I don't like is the whole inventory management shit. I just hate that shit. It's annoying. And every game is doing it now. The whole time I was playing it, I was just thinking, I need to fire up Tears of the Kingdom. The whole time I was playing, that's all I kept thinking was, I need to go play Tears of the Kingdom. Now, I did try that last Kazan, or whatever that is. That was fun. I played the demo of it a long time ago. And it was all right. But I played the last Kazan. I gotta say, I should stream that tomorrow. Because I'm not going to spar, because I've been too sick to go spar. I should stream that tomorrow. I'm gonna see if I can figure out how to stream it tomorrow. And I play the last Kazan or whatever. But that was fun. I was having fun with that. And I wouldn't even really call that like a soul. People call that a Souls-like. I wouldn't really call that a Souls-like. It's in that realm, but it's nowhere near like as annoying as Souls games are. Souls games are just annoying as fuck. The last Kazan is not annoying. It's a little easy. I'm playing on normal difficulty, so I even Googled to see like, because I was just like killing most people in like one shot, and I was like, what, you know? But to be fair, since I hate that inventory management, I always like now I think I got more of an awareness for it. But like what made all those FromSoft games even more harder for me is the fact that whenever I would play these games, I would always forget to upgrade my gear. So I'd be running around with, like, the basic shit, making the game 10 times harder. So when I was playing The Last Kazan, I was like actively paying attention to it and was actually reading it and upgrading it properly. And it was easy. Like, I think it is actually easier now too, though. But I was having a lot of fun with The Last Kazan. Kazan, what the fuck, how you call it. But I was having fun with it. I probably won't play it much, but I played it for about maybe about 2 or 3 hours, something like that. But I was genuinely having fun with it. I wasn't like pissed at all. Like Souls games just piss me the fuck off. They just piss me off. Can never go wrong with AI, right? It understands humans so well. Yeah. It's pretty bad. If you get into a debate with AI, right? I tried this. AI, for example. Okay, first let me start off with this. AI will easily diminish men any chance it gets. Now, when it does this, I dare you to ask it, say, okay, now give me the woman equivalent of what men did, da, 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 da. And it'll say, oh, I'm sorry, but I can't. You cannot get AI to say something negative about women anymore. They've programmed it out of there. If you can, you have to say it in a very nice way. If you type anything that even sounds the slightest bit hostile, or like just the slightest bit hostile or the slightest bit extremely logical, they've programmed ChatGPT to never say anything bad about women. Like, for example, I got into a conversation with ChatGPT probably about 2 weeks ago about moisturizing, right? And it was telling me how men usually don't moisturize. This is an area that most men just kind of just forget about it until it just becomes a major problem. I said, okay, now tell me what women do. I literally like followed up with, okay, now tell me what women do. That's the equivalent of that. And it's like, oh, well, I can't single out one gender, blah, blah. I said, but you just single out a whole gender before. I said, no, I didn't, because like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I'm asking you literally just to give me the same example that you gave me for men. Give me the relatively similar example for what women naturally just fuck up with, and it won't do it. It'll say, I can't single out a gender. It'll single out men real fast, but it will you got to really work at it to get it to single out women, dude. They've programmed that. They got tight with that, with being white knights and that motherfucker. But yeah. I was thinking, the only, like, I can't think of a movie I want to watch because most movies and video games are just complete trash, in my opinion. And this is just a worthless opinion, but the reason why I think most video games and movies are just complete trash now is not necessarily because of just like the gameplay. Most gameplay and storylines are just recycled shit from the last 15, 20 years. I'm not entirely mad about that, but for me, what ruins many video games specifically and movies is the voice acting. The voice acting and or the sound work. Those two things will entirely ruin a whole video game or a movie for me. Meaning the game Control, right? Remember the game Control? Let me pull it up. Control. This game, right? I went back to try to play this. And I really wanted to like it. Because I want to play the new one. Because I like the soundtrack. For the song on the trailer for the new game is hot. I put that on my phone, on my Apple Music, because I loved it. And I really wanted to like this game. And the reason why I can't play it is because the voice acting in every language. I changed the voice acting to every language down the options list, and I couldn't play it because they keep high. And this is where I think I'm going to turn into an old boomer and be that angry old man that doesn't like anything anymore. It's because I genuinely hate basic, and I'm not trying to start a race war, but I hate that basic white Cali voice actor bullshit that Europe is starting to put in all their games now too, most of them now, because and the rest of the world is going to do that because they're getting media from North America and they think all Americans sound like that. They think all America, they like the rest of the world is going to start thinking that the rest of the world in this generation is going to think that all Americans talk like that, you know, hi, well, I guess I better get to the top floor. You know, that like, well, you better get there before I do. You know, that Nathan Drake faggy shit. I fucking hate Nathan Drake, man. I can't stand that shit. I would like the game. I just fucking hate that shit, man. I can't play it. Like, I just put him on mute. Maybe I just go and just delete the whole voice file to just put the subtitles up, man. Because I like the game, but I can't deal with the voice acting. And in this game, even if you put it in German, all the voice actors have that same white girl talk. I better get up the stairs. And another thing I can't stand in video games is a lot of them Japanese games. And the reason why I don't like a lot of I really wanted to like Persona. I couldn't get into that shit because they do that. Now the Japanese tend to do this fucking. They always worried about their friends in the games. They always go, I bet Kyoshin didn't like that. Did Totsuyosuke like that? I don't know. I'm worried about Totsuyosuke. Like, oh man, shut the fuck up. Like, I just want to play the game. I want to see the mechanics you came up with. I don't give a fuck about your friendships. Go see at this point. This is when I think these motherfuckers need to go out and get. Now, this is the point where people need to go get real lives. If they worry about friendships, okay, either you're just young and lonely, or you need to go get a real life. With the Japanese games, because that's just too much. I can't even play Persona because they too worried about their friends' feelings getting hurt. Right? I just be like, fuck. I'll tell them friends anything. Just get me the fuck away from them. But Control. Now I was playing that new Batman game that came out, the Lego Batman game. Now I can deal with white people corny as long as they just completely own it. And the Batman game, they're just corny. They're just because it's a funny thing. So like it works for me with that. But like any movie that comes out, I just can't watch any new movies that come out. Most new, unless they're like they got an edge to them, like was that Severance? Unless it's something that has its own personality and they have the balls to have their own personality. Like I just can't watch anything because they do it. And I'm gonna be that old fucking boomer who hates it. I'm gonna be that old bald fucking nose hairs coming out and weird hair growing out right here. I'm gonna be mad about. I'm gonna be that old dude that can't do anything because of this shit. I would like this game if they didn't always run to get that basic. Like I was playing, was that I think Arma 3 because it was on sale for like $2, and that studio is like right down the street where they make that game. Because I was trying to get a job there as a translator, I'm sorry, a proofreader for something for English. They needed a proofreader. That Bohemian Interactive is literally down the street. They're building a new part actually right next to it. And I couldn't play it because the voice acting was just too bad. I can't do it. And on top of that, they were trying to imitate what they think white Americans are doing in the military. They were trying to imitate that. And it's just so terrible. I just couldn't I couldn't play it. Though That and I'd say the sound work in a lot of games. So what pisses me off in the sound work? What pisses me off in the sound work is, let's say you have on like headphones, right? Now Ubisoft is horrible. They've been historically terrible. They just don't give a fuck about sound work at all. Like, if somebody's talking in front of you, right, and you turn your head this way, you should hear it out of this ear, right? Or if you turn your head this way, then you hear it from that way. But if I turn completely around and then I just can't hear shit, like it's like the audio just cuts off. Like what the fuck is this? Like, how did you not figure this out? Just because I turn my head around, all audio should not turn completely off now. Like, the audio work is atrocious. So my favorite game for audio work is Returnal. I love Returnal. I still haven't beat it, but that's the only game I will continuously go back to. Death Stranding was I like Death Stranding, even though it is a walking simulator, but for some reason, like, I would play it and it felt like I'd been playing for 20 minutes and 3 hours passed and I was not bored at all, kind of thing. But sound work for me is just very important. So like anything Kojima makes usually has pretty good sound work. You can rely on that. Returnal is probably about the best. Returnal is probably about the best just overall in terms of using what they had and making it work well and making it tight. Returnal is probably about my favorite. And I would have never guessed it by watching someone play it, but to actually play it and put on headphones, Returnals is as far as I know, the best it gets with that. The voice, oh, I love the voice acting in it. That female voice actor is just perfect. It's not that dumb Cali white bitch shit. It's a real woman who's in there, and she sounds just so like authentic. It doesn't even like the way the voice actress talks in Returnal, you listen to it and it don't even feel like she's acting. It feels like this is just the person in the situation. It's great. I love Returnal. But yeah, that typical corny white voice actor it's just so annoying, man. Our parents are boomers, AD. You are Generation X. Oh, well, yeah, I'm horrible with these things. I was just meaning I'm going to be that old weird guy who's going to be just mad. But I tell you, if anybody has a Quest headset, I played Madden on it, right? And I didn't think that was going to be fun. And I had always seen people loved it. I finally had tried it. That, in my opinion, now Madden on the Quest headset is amazing, in my opinion. Madden on consoles and PC, that's trash. But if you have a VR headset, get Madden. And if you like American football, if you like the NFL, get Madden. You will not be disappointed, man. I'm telling you. You actually have to like step back and you got to throw the ball, but you got to like release the trigger to throw it at the right height. But you're like, I mean, it's legit. And then but you're the quarterback, so when you're not on the field, you're on the sideline, and you just watch them play like, the other team's possession of the ball. It's amazing. Get Madden on the Quest. If you have a Quest headset, get it. I fell in love with that shit. I was like, I couldn't believe how well made it was when they just keep fucking up the console version year after year. I don't even know how to even manage that. I'm trying to think of something else I've been playing or doing. I've been playing a lot of chess. I was playing chess in this coffee shop, and this dude came up and he said, "Hey, I play." I was playing on the iPad. Because either I go to this coffee shop and I practice something else I'm studying and wait for my son to get out of school, or I just go practice gymnastics somewhere. And this dude, he comes up, right, and he's like, he looked almost borderline homeless for real. But he couldn't have been because this place is not super cheap, And And he comes up to me and he's like on his way out. He goes, yeah, I play chess. He asked me, well, yeah, he said, what's your ELO? And I said, yeah, something like, honestly, like anywhere between 11 to about 1400, something like that. On my worst days, about 1100, and on a good days, probably about 14, 15, something like that. He goes, oh man, I could never get over like 900. So we started talking, and this dude, he teaches philosophy at the university. He's got a doctorate in philosophy. So we started talking about like Aristotle. Of course, like I could probably, I wouldn't be able to keep up with him because this is what he did. So we were talking about our paths and going to school. And he said he started off, I think he said he studied religious studies. It was his bachelor's in religious studies or something, or I think his master's in religious studies. And he was laughing, saying that like, you know, once you get a PhD, you're pretty much unemployable at that point because you just kind of go too high. And you're just unemployed. We were laughing about it, you know. I told him, well, I'm working on my second master's right now, and a real cool dude. We sat down, we talked for a while. He's from I think he said Newcastle. I think he said is a real cool. Oh, this older white dude. He's cool. He said he was living in South Africa for a while, and his visa ran out there. But I've heard South Africa is like rough on white people, dude. Like I heard it can be rough. I knew a woman who lived in this building. She was Czech when she was living in South Africa. She had stories about living down there, about being white. Because the thing is, like the Czechs, they really don't. The Czechs, you know, they still get on that homogeneous shit, but like they don't. The Czechs don't have that real, not okay. Let's just be a call a spade. The Czechs don't have that knowledge of like of slavery like that in any way. So like they're really confused when things get like that in any kind of way. In any kind of way. They just don't know. They're just super confused kind of thing. And she was a real nice woman. She told me a bunch of stories on it. You know, it was really sad. What do you think is better to be? The fun dad or the strict dad? Kevin, well, with my son, he'll be 4 soon. I mean, we play a lot. Well, I mean, it's impossible for me to say, like, you know, to like a teenage boy, because I don't have a teenage son yet. Here's the thing. I think the difference between me and my son, I can only speak for me. I think, well, ultimately, you're always going to be strict. You're always going to be at least in some form strict, because a dad is going to be unless you get with a woman who's going to be, you know, hard. You know, the woman's usually going to be the one that's going to let them get away with shit that they know they shouldn't get away with, and that's usually going to be categorized as fun, right? Now, which one will a kid genuinely have more? A kid is genuinely always going to have more actual fun with the dad, because women don't know how to have fun. Women don't know how to be likable. Like anything that a woman is desired for is 95% simply because she was just the embodiment of woman, right? It was very little merit behind her being liked. Okay, women don't know. A woman does not know how to make you like them. A woman doesn't know how to fun her way into some shit, you know, outside of fucking. You know, once you take out sex, women don't know how to make something fun or entertaining. Generally speaking, they don't really know. They're relying on other people to pick up and take over. So I think a child is always going to ultimately actually have fun with the father, but the child thinks that the mother is the fun one, because the mother just lets them get away with shit. Because I tell you right now, without a fact, my son has a actual fun with me. Now, if you put me and his mother here and stand us next to each other, he's going to go to mommy first. Right? Every time. It's not even, well, I don't know. Maybe some of the time I think he's starting to come to me a little more. But if you stand me and his mom up together, you know, mommy is the relaxation, because he knows he can just get away with everything with her. where I'll stop him if he's doing something stupid. Now, to be fair, I'm not gonna like diss women. To be fair, there are women out there who will be strict on kids. There are women who it definitely does exist that will force good habits and and routines into children. These women definitely exist 100%. But also, women aren't as scary as fathers. Like, men are just generally more scary than women are. Most kids will eventually grow out of being afraid of their mother, where most kids never really grow out of being afraid of their father. You know what I mean? Like, most kids, it's just that situation. Because you can even see like in the toys. In the toys are the things that you'll do with like your mother and father. Like, looking back on my mom and my dad, like the things you would actually do, like for example, like with my son, right? Like the toys that I buy him are toys where he can like genuinely like do something with it, right? Like, and then when he's done something, he can go off and do something else with it. But the toys that like his mother will buy, they're more just like, model toys, like, or if it does something, you can't really do much more with it after that. Like she bought him like this little bubble gun where he just holds it and it just shoots bubbles. And all I did was just stand there and just hold it. He can't really do anything with it. Whereas like I'll get him a gun or a sword and we can have a sword fight. Or I got him like this little rocket thing where he like steps on it and I didn't even think he figured it out. I didn't even think he figured it out. Let me see if I can find it. So this was the thing I bought him. I bought him this like 2 years ago, and he finally figured it out and likes it now. It's some arrows over there somewhere. But this is the thing. I bought him this off Temu actually, and it's a hang on. Oof. Make it bigger so you can see me. I'm gonna get off here in a minute. It's like 9:30. So this is it's this foot part you step on. Now his foot isn't strong enough because he always wants to push it all the way down, and he's not strong enough to hit it when it's all the way down. So I had told him, no, you gotta put it like this, man, because you're too weak. Your little baby feet can't do that yet. So he does that. It like shoots off. Yeah, we just went behind the TV, but he loves it. When he consistently, I didn't think he'd like it. That's the thing. When you buy toys, especially at his age, you just don't know if he's gonna like it or not. Like it's impossible to know. So I just immediately backed off of buying him anything expensive first. Just buy something like the general idea, but like just get him a bunch of general ideas, but extremely cheap shit off like Temu first to see what he's actually gonna play with. And then if he goes to that, now buy him the good shit. Don't start off buying him the good shit because he may not even touch it. I think this was like, I don't know, like $4 on Temu or something, but he loves this thing. Like he was doing it for like, he would literally do it for like an hour straight. Like just and then we would count together like 3, 2, 1, go. And then he just shoot it and then go chase it down and come bring it back and do it again. I mean, he loved this thing. I didn't think he'd like it at all. Oh, and this thing. I got this for him off Temu. He really liked this too. I was actually impressed by how well this worked. So, hang on. I didn't think it worked as well. So you just like you like write something on it, right? It doesn't. You can't really see it there. It looks a lot better in person. It looks like shit on because my camera's shitty. But then you push this button right here, and it just disappears. Hang on. Pushing it. Yeah, it just completely disappears. Like it wasn't like absolute. Like it 100% was not just there. See, it looks like shit because my camera's horrible, but it's legit. I was actually impressed by how well this worked. I didn't think it would be that good. And so he really liked this too. And you can see the gymnast rings. Can you see the gymnast rings? So he loves the gymnast rings, man. So and the heavy bag, and he rides the rope, and he loves all that shit. So I put the so I was doing what do you call that? Skin the cat. Let me see if I can do, because I've been sick. I probably can't even do skin the cat anymore. Let me see if I can do it. Because I was doing, well, I was doing, that's why it's up higher now. Hope my pants don't fall down. Because I don't have my belt on. Hope my pants don't fall down, but we'll see. Yeah. Could you guys even see that? You probably couldn't even see it. Hang on. Could you guys even see that? Because I've been sick, man. I was sick like the whole last week. I'll do one more. Yeah. So I hope you guys, could you guys even see that? Yeah. I don't know if my form was even great. It's probably horrible, but well, yeah. But he loves the gymnast rings, man. So even when we like, because in Czech Republic, it's a park like every 50 yards. And a lot of them will have gymnast rings. So now he just goes straight to the gymnast rings. He can't do anything because he's just too small. But at least he knows what they are. Just like immediately, he knows what they are now. Well, yeah. Huh. Yeah. That's about it, man. So what's this? 9:30. I was so sick since last week. Does it help with your back problems? Nothing other than just hang. Like if I just do like a hold for like a minute, like just a regular. This will help because it's just like if I just like hold like this. Do you guys? But if I just do this for like a minute, I can feel my back decompressing now. Just so you can see, my feet aren't like on the floor. But yeah. So like, I don't know if you could hear me, but if I just hold it, I could feel my back. But I do have gravity boots up there, so I can hang upside down from there too. But yeah, I mean, I could put the gravity boots on, but you see, I just hang upside down and do it for hang upside. I could when I first started, I couldn't hang upside down that long, but now I could do it easily 2 minutes. But yeah. But yeah, I just wanted but the reason, because I really did want to take that stuff down because it's really just too much stuff in this flat. It's not a big flat. But I really wanted to take it down. But after I thought about it, I really wanted him to know what all this stuff is. I didn't want him to be because like I said, when I was a kid, like it was just a different time period, all that, right? So like we just didn't have all this stuff at home. So like by the time I would go out to like a school or something and see it, it'd be this big thing. You know what I mean? Like I was just like first I would have to get over the shock of just seeing it and then feel comfortable actually, doing it. But yeah. Yeah, man. But yeah. I want him to learn how to I'm teaching him how to at least. Well, you can't really teach him much now. He just doesn't have the capacity to learn. But I want him to, at least right now, he's used to putting on the boxing gloves and let me put them on him properly, and then at least trying to hit my hand kind of thing. So at least he's used to it. It won't be foreign to him. But yeah, it's life, man. But when you see them girls who are like gymnasts, oh man, like those girls are like, or anybody in there. When you go to these like gymnastics places with people who do gymnastics, oh man, those guys are amazing. Like this one dude, I met this one guy. He was doing the gymnast rings, but he was like for real doing the gymnast rings. He had his shirt off. This motherfucker had muscles. His muscles had muscles. You know what I mean? And he was just like, he was doing all that shit, man. I can't do. I could attempt some of the stuff he was doing, but I just don't have the muscles or the years of doing it to even keep up with that, man. So those are my heroes and people in there doing. But like my logic was always this. Like I said with fighting Mike Tyson, like if I can go and hang out with Mike Tyson and learn 10% of what Mike Tyson has, I'll be a god in the regular world. Like the regular world, motherfuckers wouldn't be able to keep up with me in the regular world at all. If I could go to where people are doing this and learn 10% of what they know, to where it's like just like that for me, I'll be a god in the regular world, and go out in the regular world and sell it in some kind of way. Yeah. Hmm. Wait, boy, I'm getting ready to get out of here, man. It's 9:30. I hope you're doing good, man. So that's it. I'm gonna get out of here. Y'all have a good day, evening, night. And was you gonna teach them how to be a player in those chick streets? Who knows, man? Who knows how it's gonna work out? I just want him, like, I just want my son to be prepared, even if he doesn't know he's prepared. Like, that wax on, wax off shit. I just want, like, I don't care about anything else. I just want to know that he knows how to protect himself against some of anything. So I want to put him in wrestling school now, but he's just too young. They got to usually start at like 4 or 5. I really want to do that now, but he just can't do it. But I just want, like, I would be completely comfortable because I already got his college paid for if he chooses to go to America. And of course, it's free here if he wants to do it here. But all I care about is that he can protect himself. That at least I know that he could protect himself if he wants to. You know what I mean? If it really comes, if he with his back against the wall, he's gonna know, the parts of the human body that are just gonna do something. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. He's just prepared. That's all I really care about, man. That's all I really care. Because I think the intellectual side and all that, because he'll get it just from seeing the books laying around, and he'll just get the intellectual side from just kind of seeing this and just like just kind of just sprinkled in throughout his life, and just me just saying something or doing something or taking him somewhere. Like I think all that'll just kind of like naturally weave in there. But one thing you just can't really naturally weave in is getting punched in the face. Like you just have to get punched in the face and make peace with it, the best you can at least. Make peace with getting slammed to the ground. That way you know what it feels like to get Don't be that person who says, I want to get punched in the face. Be that person that is okay with being punched in the face. Don't because here's the thing. If you learn how to become at peace with things that other people actively run away from, now you got something valuable. I remember I took him rock climbing, right? And because it was cold and I really didn't want to take him, but I really wanted to take him, but I really didn't want to take him because it was cold. You know, he's 3, so he doesn't understand to sit the fuck down and wait for me to change so I can help him change. He does, so he's like running around and it's just annoying. You know, but I took him rock climbing and we finally figured it out. And I remember, so he was scared to even try to climb it on his own, right? So I took him to like this kids area. You remember, this is Czech Republic, so they grow up doing rock climbing here. So like, you know, the rock climbing here would probably be like intermediate in America for like the kids here, like, you know, because they just have a higher level of doing this shit. This is what they do. So I took him to the kids section. I wasn't really quite sure he could do it, and I said, okay, I'm just gonna start climbing, right? It wasn't even tall. It's not that. It's probably like my height and then like a half of my height. So I started climbing, and then he starts climbing. So he got it and he figured it out and started climbing with me. So I'm like turning around watching him, right? And I'll go up a little more, crawl up a little more, turn back around, and he would come up and like try to follow me, right? And then it got to a point where like he wanted to get down. And now if his mother's there, he would just start crying because, you know, that's what kids do. If they know mommy's there, mommy will jump out the microwave to save you, you know. But like, you know, I think he knew that crying shit, daddy isn't going to fall for that. And on top of that, daddy's higher than me, right? And I wasn't really high, but to him, I was high, right? Because I was like hanging on one hand. I was looking at him, and I could see the look in his face. He was like this, right? His both hands up. He was looking up. And then, I mean, he kept trying to look down. He wanted to get down. And I told my dad this story. And I remember he looked up with this like puppy dog look, like, because he knew he couldn't cry to me because there was nothing in his mind. I think he was pretty sure there was nothing I could do because I was higher than him. He had deduced it in his head that he wanted to get down. And the only way to get down would be just to let go, because he's 3. He doesn't know he can just climb back down. You know? So in his baby brain, he just went, okay, I have to let go now. This is scary. And he just kept blinking like. I was like, and to be honest with you, like I was panicking, right? Because it's my son. I don't want him to hurt himself. I'm thinking like, no. Because if I panic, then he's gonna panic, and if he panics or if he sees me hurry up and climb down to go get, oh baby, come here, now he's gonna be expecting me to do that every time, right? If he sees me go, oh no, oh wait, let me go get you, you know, if my energy starts showing panic, then he's gonna panic, because the whole time he's not panicking, he's just deducing to himself what do I have to do next to get down, right? So. I watched the moment he just let go. And he fell kind of hard, right? Because he didn't push off. He like fell down like that Plinko board on fucking Bob Barker. He was and rolled on the ground. And I wanted to panic. I remember I was like, oh my God, like inside I was like, don't panic. Wait. Just wait. But I wanted to, because I'm just like hanging on with one arm, like, you know, with my feet on him and one hand. I'm just turned around watching him, right? It wasn't that high up. To him, it was probably high, but it wasn't that high. And he fell, right? And like I said, he slid straight down the rock climbing. So he just hit all the rocks on the way. Fell on the mat. And he fell over like on the side, right? And I was like, oh shit. I'm thinking to myself, oh shit, is he all right? And he rolled over on his back and looked up and then just started dancing. I was like, oh shoot. He made it. He made it, and he was dancing and happy he made it. You know what I mean? Because he did it. He failed on his own. You know what I mean? And he seen failure wasn't the end. Because see, mommies can't do that. Mommies can't let him go learn. So now, well, at least at the time, I'm sure he's forgotten that, because that was like 2 months ago, at least, because it was cold. But somewhere in his memory banks, he knows that falling is not the end now. At least on some level, it's somewhere in his memory banks. You know what I mean? But yeah, rock climbing is fun, man. I'd recommend it. I'd recommend it. But again, when you go with these when you're in there with these guys who do this shit, man, they make you like, oh my god, these guys are incredible. I meet some great guys. That's one thing I did find out too about Czech Republic specifically. I don't know about the other countries here or areas here, but Czech Republic, you have to go to places where people are doing things that are strictly merit based, and you have to have some sense of experience with it for years. Like you can't, these places that people tend to be far better to talk to. But if you're in like casual, cool places where you can hide behind your iPhone or your car or something like that, that's where the shitty, snobbish shit starts to it comes out a lot more. You gotta go to these places where you go there and you can get hurt. Those are the best places to meet people because they still live in reality. By the time people are all hyped about what kind of phone or car they got and all this, see, these people are still living in that imagination, or YouTube and all. They still live in that imagination in their head of what they are. You know what I mean? It's not reality. Well, it's reality to them, but yeah, man. Yeah, my son, he fell that rock climbing thing, man. That was, I was scared. I'm not lying. I'm not gonna lie. I was legit scared on the inside. Like I was like screaming on the inside, but I knew if I screamed, then he would scream. If I panicked, he would panic. So I just didn't. I just watched him. Um, but if his mother was there, we couldn't have done any of that. He would. She wouldn't have let it. She wouldn't have let him do. I mean. We went there together. I think like a week or two before that, and they just kind of ran with each other on this. Like they didn't do any climbing or anything at all, because that's another, like, women just don't really do good at, like, at getting people to focus on a routine. Like, even when it comes to anything, women do great. Women do the best when they can kind of start something and just kind of hope for the best that the other party just kind of just takes it upon themselves to do it. Like they don't know how to like form any structure with anything. You know what I mean? Outside of a makeup routine, that's about it. Like that's what dads are for. Dads are there, because I don't want to have to teach my son to get punched in the face, because I don't want him to, you don't want your son to get hurt. You know what I mean? No father, well, at least, okay, let me rephrase it. No mentally healthy father wants to hurt their own kid. You know what I mean? But it's necessary for the world. So it's like I don't like I'm really dreading when I'm gonna have to like explain to him that, okay, you know, nobody is comfortable getting punched in the face, but it's something you have to know. And just like how and to get it through to him, like, see, when you get punched in the face and all you see is this, you know what I mean? Like, that's all you can see. If you do that to them, that's all they can see. You got to remember that whatever you're just a human like them. Now they may have a little more experience with dealing with it, but they're feeling the same thing. You know what I mean? Well, yeah. Yeah, that's it, man. I'm out of here. So you guys have a good day, evening, night. Thanks for tuning in, because I've been gone for like 2 months. I'm going to try to live stream tomorrow. I'm going to try to see if I can stream The Last Kazan tomorrow from my gaming laptop to this MacBook. That's going to be a project to figure out. But I'm going to see if I can do it tomorrow. It's going to be a gaming day. Okay, so I'll let you guys go. Good night.